many people ask me, why don't you put your NGH certification into an online training portal? Why don't you let people come in, study at their own pace, and then having practice and Q&A sessions? And that's because I value quality, and it's only an integrity with me to know that people are getting the very best training that they can get. Because let's face it, if you're investing in a hypnosis certification, then you're making an investment in yourself, and you expect to get what it is that you are paying for. Here is the problem with doing an online portal training. Okay. Well, let's just get the first thing out of the way. There's something called Parkinson's law, and that basically says that the time that you have allotted for a task, the task will expand to fit that allotted time. So you could have 7 days worth of material. You give someone 6, 9, 12 months to get through it. That's how long it's going to take you to get through it. And that means how long it's going to take you to see the return on your investment. The second thing is this NGH certification is different from other NGH certifications. So I'm going to kind of wrap two things into one here, because the other question that I get asked is, when are you doing your advanced certification that's just for already certified hypnotists, because I don't need the NGH piece? The basic portion of this training is only a small portion of the training. Everything else is geared to lay the foundation for the advanced pieces while also meeting the criteria for the NGH. This is a very specific systematic process. It is a criteria-based process. There is no wishing. There is no guessing. There is no doubting. If your client's in hypnosis, did your client go to sleep? Which technique do I use? Do I want a progressive muscle relaxation today? Do I need a confusion induction? No, no, no. From day 2, students in this training are using a rapid induction to somnambulism with covert testing. And on day 3 of the training, they are combining that with a convincer for the client. Most people do not learn these techniques the way that they are set up here, much less practice it. And that is because I have met so many people over the years, since I trained in this process before I even became an instructor, that simply did not learn a rigorous, systematic way. They learn a very broad but shallow basic certification, where it's like putting together the pieces of a puzzle to see what fits. Whereas with the systematic process, we have the key and the lock, and we know that the key goes in the lock. What does that have to do with anything? If it's a systematic process, wouldn't I benefit from, stringing it out? And the answer is no, because the practice gives you the foundations. The practice builds the muscle memory. The practice instills in you the principles that you're looking for, so that you know these criteria, so that you know you have the client deep enough to do the work that's being done. Now, there are people that say that depth does not matter. Well, if you want to do endless sessions, throw spaghetti at the wall, and not really have any idea how long it's going to take you to get your client where they want to be, then no, I guess depth doesn't matter. The science shows that for the hippocampus to become active, and the hippocampus is what is involved in memory formation, belief formation, and dismantling of beliefs, changing our mind for good, so to speak. You have to be in deep theta for that to happen. which means you want to be in deeper states of hypnosis. That part of the brain only becomes active in deeper theta. Now, can we hit that spontaneously? Yes. But when you're facilitating change work, you want to be in charge of that process. So people often talk about the critical factor when they talk about hypnosis. The critical factor, it's the part of the mind that keeps every piece of information that comes into your awareness from changing your beliefs. But there's something in addition to that critical factor that very few people talk about. And that is your protective part. It is your protective mechanisms. When your brain has a belief that it believes is protecting you, even if that belief is something that causes you something unpleasant in your life, like smoking when you don't want to smoke, drinking too much when you don't want to drink, having sugar cravings when you'd rather lose weight, or other behaviors, procrastination, imposter syndrome. You just pile on anything you want there. When the mind believes that it needs to protect itself from some perceived unwanted, unpleasant experience that might happen, you gotta be in those deeper states. And you have to be in a directed process, because if you're not in that directed process and you're doing direct suggestion, stories, metaphors, it's literally throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And you're hoping you catch the mind at a moment when it's deep enough that you get past that protective part. And when you're doing a directed root cause approach, you're in direct communication with the client. You are in dialogue with the client, and you will know when that protective part kicks up. Whereas if you're doing direct suggestion, you have no idea what's going on in the mind of your client while you're giving these suggestions. For some people, it works. For deep emotional behaviors, it takes forever. If it works, it takes forever. It takes a long time to become skilled at using classical hypnosis to shift deeper beliefs. You have to go study different mindset books and all of these things that when you have a systematic process, you don't need any of that. The client takes you to the source, and the client provides themselves with what they need to shift that belief. You're just a facilitator. You're the facilitator. You don't have to figure it out. You're not sweating. In this 7-day intensive allows you to build the foundation. If you were to string this out over time, then your technique would probably be inconsistent. There wouldn't be that drilling in of the principles, and you might remember it, you might not remember it. And because you have poor technique due to lack of consistency or drilling, you run into all kinds of problems in attempting to implement this with your clients. So, first and foremost, I want my people to get what they're investing in. I want them to have the process and to have a high quality training. That's why all of my trainings are limited to 20 people max. And once I get up to 10 people, I actually bring in someone else to be a facilitator in the practice session so that I know everyone is getting the attention that they need, that they're learning a good, clean technique. They're building good, solid habits. That's why you will not see me put this into an online training portal. Now, that aside, I do have an online hypnosis resource library that my graduates get access to, because think of building a home and you have this wonderful foundation and you have the walls up and the windows and the siding, and you have the plumbing in and the electric, and the walls are up. But now you get to go in and decorate the home. The Hypnosis Resource Library will help you to decorate the home. Instead of coming out of a hypnosis certification with a lot of different things that you could cobble together. It's like going to a pantry, or let's go back to the house metaphor. You can go to Lowe's and they have cabinets and they have plumbing and they have plywood and they have 2x4s and they have nails and they have screws and all the things. You can go into Lowe's with a check for $250,000 and say, can you give me what I need to build 1,000 square foot house? Because that's probably all that would build you these days. I don't even know. Or you can say, hey, I'm looking for a house that was just built that I can kind of make my own. I want the house already built, nice, new, solid foundation, but dress it up as my own. Would you rather go into Lowe's and say, just give me all the parts and pieces and I'll figure out how to put it together? Or would you rather have the house already put together that you can go in and decorate? That's the comparison between the two, because I've done both certifications. I've been there basic. I have sweat my pits when clients were coming in and worked so hard to write a script based off the interview the week before, have them come in and they changed their mind and they wanted to work on something completely different and going, oh fudge, if you know what I'm saying, right? With this, you don't have to do that. If you want to work one-on-one with people and you want to get real results that last and you want to get those results fast, you want a foundation and you want to do it right, not dragged out over time. Go below, get my free guide, 101 Ways to Create Income as a Hypnotist. Look at all the different ways you can take what you learn in hypnosis and maybe incorporate skills and knowledge that you already have to generate an income. Or maybe you want to completely change directions in life altogether and do something drastically different. And you can do that too. Because when I started out in hypnosis, it was more around medical hypnosis. I worked with referrals from doctors, help people stop smoking, lose weight, be compliant with their medications, IBS, all those things. And now that's not what I do at all. You can make that change in any direction that you want. And hypnosis is a fantastic way to do that. So I hope this answered your questions around why this doesn't go into a self-paced portal. It's because it would not benefit you. Would it be easier for me to not stand in front of the class for 70 hours and facilitate and mentor and teach? Would it be easier for me to, meet a few times, 4 hours at a pop to do practice? Sure. But would you be able to go out and do the right thing by your clients? Probably not. Anyway, be sure to subscribe and like this video and stick around. There'll be some more coming.